Getting started with EasyWorship as your presentation software. That's what we're talking about today. Hey there, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for being here. We're talking directly to ministry leaders, that would be you, who are looking for creative ways to visually communicate the gospel through graphics and video. So you might be a senior pastor, you might be a communications director, a kids or student pastor, or you might be a creative or media volunteer at your church. If you are a decision maker when it comes to the creative needs of your church, this podcast is for you. Thank you for being here. I hope and pray that it is a help to you and gives you some tools and resources on how to visually communicate the gospel. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me this season. This week, we're going to be talking about getting started with EasyWorship as your presentation software. We'll talk about getting started with the software, the benefits of using it, and a general review and overview of the software. We'll jump right into all of that right after this. Are you looking for reliable printing for your visuals? Well, check out our friends at Outreach.com. As a preferred printing partner for over 20,000 churches worldwide, they have everything you need. From postcards to banners to mailers, Outreach is here to help you reach more with custom printing. Your visuals matter because your message matters. Make your message stand out with Outreach.com. Hey guys, on this episode, as we take a deeper look at EasyWorship, I welcome two great members of the EasyWorship team. Dan Willard is the Senior Training Specialist at EasyWorship, and Jared Warren is the Support and Communications Manager at the company. Both of these guys are in the trenches of ministry, helping ministry leaders just like yourself who use EasyWorship to present their visual media. I talked with Dan and Jared about an overview of the software. We hit on different features and different things that the software can do for your church to help you communicate the gospel well, to see if EasyWorship is a great fit for your church. So here's my conversation with Dan Willard and Jared Warren. Hey guys, I welcome my friends Jared Warren and Dan Willard from EasyWorship. What's going on, guys?
Not much. We're just hanging out, doing really good.
Enjoying the beautiful weather in Tulsa right now.
And Jared, your shirt definitely says Tulsa.
Yeah, it's this is my fall shirt. We're getting a little cooler, so. I went back. This is no ding on you at all. I used to be a big fan of the Hawaiian shirt, and I went back to my college recently that I graduated from, and I saw a yearbook, and I opened it up, and it's me like in a Hawaiian shirt, like back in the day. I'm like, I don't know how that ages well or not, but hey, I look cool. I mean, I felt cool. I'm just embracing like retirement really early. Just
right.
Looking forward to my Florida years in my 30s as opposed to like my 60s, you know?
Right. Awesome. Well, you guys are such great partners of ours. Really appreciate it. I know we've done a lot of work together with the software and put some media content in your library and stuff like that. So I just want to tell you right off how much I appreciate you guys and your friendship and your partnership. Thank you for all that you do for the kingdom.
Of course. Yeah. Likewise.
Yeah. Love to do it.
Well, man, I want to, both of you guys, I want to walk through why a ministry leader should consider EasyWorship at their church when they're trying to determine the right presentation software, right? So on this podcast, we've kind of walked through a few steps of if you have no screens or, how to get installation and of screens or TVs or whatever you need to do to get media shown in your environment. And then you need a software to play that media, to present those visuals on Sunday or throughout your programming. So, Dan, why don't you start us off? Kind of give us an overview of the software and what it can do for ministry leaders.
Sure. Yeah. So EasyWorship is as we say, easy to use presentation software. It can display your song lyrics, scriptures, presentations, videos, images, whatever you need to put on the screen. EasyWorship can do that. We display all kinds of mini movies, countdowns, lots of content that 1230 Media puts out. So yeah, it's and again, we've made it easy for volunteers to use. You can run EasyWorship remotely. You can use it with MIDI cues, and I think we'll kind of get into that a little bit later on. You can live stream with EasyWorship. So lots of different things that you can do with that. But yeah, for the primary use of EasyWorship is displaying your lyrics, presentations, scriptures for your congregation.
Yeah, great. Jared, why don't you walk us through kind of who's it for? Who do you guys build the software for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are very firm believers in sort of our corporate vision of supporting the church at every single level. I think there's sort of a perception that EasyWorship is primarily made for smaller churches, but I mean, we've set up and run slides and run show control at some of the biggest worship experiences in the U.S. We did Experience Conference just a few weeks ago,
right?
And that setup is massive. LED screens, live stream, like tons of stuff integrated in that setup. And so our software isn't really, I would say it's more agnostic to size of church. But, we truly are, our product is made for the church. Like, we are a church presentation software. And so every new feature that's added, every point we move to in development we're looking for things that can help equip churches engage with the congregation, both in church, at home, or wherever they are.
So I know as of this recording, you guys are on 7.4, right? I think we'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit, but kind of give me maybe some quick updates of 7.4, what you guys have kind of added to. What's it look like right now?
So the two biggest things in 7.4 are we released a new updated web browser, and our favorite thing is the Song Select by CCLI integration. So since we directly integrate now with Song Select by CCLI, all of the song usage reporting that used to be a very manual process and was very frustrating for tech leaders in churches, especially volunteer run tech departments in churches, is now completely automatic. And it was really funny. This is kind of just a side story, but Dan and I are both heavily involved with the support team here at EasyWorship. And so we get to hear all of the issues and recurring calls and things. And one of the funniest things we heard whenever 7.4 released is people calling in and being like, but how do I do the automatic song reporting? And we're like, no, you don't get it. It's automatic. It just
turn it on.
How do we do the automatic song reporting?
No, it just does it. Like that's so. We've had some good chuckles about that. So that was the big thing, and also with that that API that CCLI gave us access to, we were actually the first ones to get access to their new API, which was really cool and very very kind of them to give us access to that. But with that, you can actually click and drag songs a lot easier into your kind of resource section down there at the bottom of EasyWorship, which made it a lot easier for a lot of churches that use Song Select, because a lot of that was like copy and pasting, and then you lose some of that formatting. But it made it a lot more streamlined. So a lot of people have been really, really happy about that. Dan, do you want to talk about the web browser?
The web browser it just allows you to, we lost the capability in a previous version to browse the web or to get to Song Select or to get to the media store, things like that within the software, through the integrated browser. So we updated the browser so that it will work better now. It's smoother, it's faster. You can get to any kind of web page if you want to display your church website through EasyWorship and navigate through that during your church service. You can go to websites and show videos. So, and you get directly to our media store. If you want to purchase media, you can do that there as well. So it's just a lot easier, again, a lot more streamlined and just smoother and quicker.
All right, so let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about some of the basic features of the software. So, Jared, why don't you get into maybe building schedules? Let's talk about that for a second. What is building schedules?
Yeah, so schedules are sort of like a term that we use to talk about. Like a schedule is like everything built into one specific
your program.
like item. Yeah, built in. So it's everything you see on the left-hand side of your screen. And you can click and drag. I mean, is our bread and butter. We wanted to make it as simple as possible. For anybody to start using EasyWorship. I mean, I've probably told this story to you before, Carl, but I literally taught my best friend's grandma how to use EasyWorship in 30 minutes, and she runs it for her like 14-person church in like southern Oklahoma, Prickett Prairie Baptist Church.
Yeah.
And so
if you can teach grandma,
87 years. Oh, come on. She's 87 years old, dude. And she's running tech. I mean, that's kind of a callback in and of itself. So there's a lot of click and drag actions that we would suggest, everybody kind of using. So if you're wanting to add a specific song, you just click it in the resource area, drag it over there onto your schedule. It'll create a new schedule line item for you there, and you can kind of see a visual representation of what that looks like. And based on the themes that you have set by default, it'll have a certain appearance. And we'll kind of talk about themes here in a little bit, I think. But then, if you want it to look a specific way or want a video to play on top of that song or on top of that slide, the sermon note slide, you literally, like I said before, in the resource area, you just click it, drag it directly onto it, and it'll apply that visual element to the slide that you're looking at. So it's very, very intuitive, very, very user-friendly. And that's the big basics. You can also import PowerPoint if you're using PowerPoint slides. We're very familiar with people using that as a tool, so that's kind of been baked into the software as well.
Importing it in. I think that is one thing that really sets you guys apart is the usability. It is very intuitive. Grandma can learn it pretty quickly. So kudos to you for developing it like that. You guys want to walk through what presentation designer is within the software?
Yeah, I can take that. So the presentation designer, we kind of built that to hopefully replace PowerPoint. So a lot of churches still do use PowerPoints. A lot of pastors like to create their sermon notes in PowerPoint. A lot of churches create their announcement slides in PowerPoint, and they like to add those into the software. So the presentation designer was kind of built as a replacement for that, to be able to create your own announcement slides in EasyWorship. So you're doing all the work in one place. The pastor can create their sermon notes in EasyWorship, so that you're not having to import from a separate program. There's having a separate program work within EasyWorship. We do a great job of getting PowerPoint to work. But at the same time, when they have updates, when Windows does updates, there can be some, I guess you call it bugs, that we have to work through. But so getting all of that into one place and being able to build and create all of those things in one place and still have them work like you want to is really the key, just to make things easier and just better overall.
So do you have templates set up in there so a pastor can, have kind of a framework to work with? Is it a total blank slate? How do you kind of help them along in that?
So when you go to create a presentation in EasyWorship, you're actually going to get a slide that looks like a PowerPoint slide. It'll have a title and a subtitle text box. Then there's also some other, what we call slide themes in the presentation. So there's also a content or a title and a content slide, which has a title text box and a content text box. And then there's also a content only slide. There's a blank slide, and there's a scripture slide. So there's different, I guess you could say, template slides that are there for them to create their outlines or whatever they want there. But then, you can create themes for your presentations that allow you to change the background or where your text is on the slide for that presentation.
Jared, I know you mentioned themes earlier. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I think Dan hit on all the main points. It is very, very similar in what you were specifically asking about, Carl, in how similar is it to sort of templated pages in like PowerPoint. It's very, very similar. If you've looked into sort of PowerPoint and the different like types of like the numbering or like the
bullet points.
We include all that similar functionality in EasyWorship for themes and templates.
So speaking of pastors, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, sorry. Also, just for themes in general, you can create themes for songs as well and for scriptures. So not just just the presentations, but scriptures and songs. You can create themes for those as well. Change the font, the format of the slide, where the text is on the slide, the backgrounds, all that kind of stuff can be changed.
So we're talking about kind of pastors creating their own. Tell me, and tech guys need this too, but as far as Bibles, pulling in scripture and into your presentation, talk to me about how the software handles both purchasing and installing Bibles.
Yeah, so we do have a bunch of free Bibles that are available with EasyWorship. There are some that when you install the program, it actually installs those Bibles with it. We do have a lot of Bibles that are available for purchase as well. And those are going to be the copyrighted Bibles that we have to pay royalties on. So those are a charge. But once you purchase that Bible, it's for your entire license. And EasyWorship comes with a site license, so you can install it on as many computers as you need for your church. So you buy the Bible once, and you can install it on any computer that you have registered with your license. And then once you have it, it carries over to any kind of upgrade that you do with EasyWorship. So it's not like you have to buy purchase the Bible over and over again. It's one time. And then within the scriptures tab in our resource area, you can just download that Bible. Once you have it registered with your license, it's available for download. And then you can just select the verses you want and send them live.
So I don't think people realize that as much. We work with ministries who do word for word scripture songs that we create videos for. And you guys are the same way when it comes to Bibles. You have to pay the Bible royalties. And so I think a lot of times people might be like, why isn't it's the Bible? Why isn't it free? It's not.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why. I mean, you have to for different translations and things like that. You have to pay the publisher, pay the Bible to.
Yeah, that was definitely right at the top of my mind as well as a talking point. Is like people have the expectation is like, oh, it's the Bible, it should be royalty free. How long ago it was written? It's got to be public domain by now, right?
Nope.
But there are some translations that are, but a lot of them are not.
All of the ones that are public domain we offer for free. We're not trying to turn a profit on those, and it's definitely not something that we make money, not to get into how much money the company makes on Bibles, but it's not something that we're just like sitting here like misers trying to wring money out of people. We don't.
Right. I want people to know that too. That's not on you in any way. The publisher is on the publisher. All right. So, Jared, you might can grab this one. What is the Elgato Stream Deck, and what can it do? Be pretty basic on this for those kind of just getting into it. Tell me what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, if you're going after basic, I'm the one you want to ask. Dan knows way more.
Just a little more technical.
In general, knows way more about everything than I do. But that happens
fair.
when you're when you've got twice as much time on Earth, it's, you can gather twice as much knowledge. So,
Hey, you dress better than Dan, but
that's not true.
That's about what you got going.
So the Elgato Stream Deck is, man, it really is like the one piece of hardware outside of a setup that we recommend to everybody, from small to big churches. It is so useful, and it is so sort of agile and useful in so many different ways. So basically what it is a USB device. You just plug it straight into your computer. And through their software, you can pull what are called macros, not to get super technical, but what a macro does is it performs one specific action. Or, sometimes in more advanced cases, like sequence of actions. Right. And so basically we have a plugin that you can download that you can do specific actions in EasyWorship, like move forward a slide. You can have it list out numbers of slides. So if you have a very specific slide of a song that you're wanting to go to, and your like worship leader keeps going back to the chorus over and over and over and over, way more than you wanted to, you can keep pulling back to that chorus. You can go to next schedule item. You can clear your screens if somebody's like, we're going to take a moment of silence, you can just turn everything black with just the press of a button. But mainly, it's just like the use cases are kind of infinite for it. And we use it during conferences and the big setups to fire alerts. So that is basically those confidence monitors in the front of house, which we call fold back. Basically, it'll fire an alert up there for them so they can see how much time they have left on their allotted segment, if your church is interested in doing things like that. So there's a ton of use cases for it, and we've had people submit some really, really cool use cases, and just you start getting into all the automated features of EasyWorship and things like that, and it starts to the power users are pretty cool. We're always interested to hear those stories.
Yeah. Good.
I've got one right here if I want to hold it up, and we can show kind of what it looks like. And it's got our plug-in on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The buttons that come in there. So you can advance the slides, the schedule items, logo, black, clear, all of that with our built-in plug-in.
Yeah. It's definitely great to have right next to the computer to do one thing here and then bail to something, go to a quick, a shortcut through the stream.
Yep, right.
Good.
Especially if it's dark.
Right. The lighted up buttons there. All right. Tell me about the live stream capability of the software. If I'm live streaming my services to social or something like that.
So live streaming, we do not do directly out of EasyWorship, but we do offer an alternate output, which allows you to send out the same content as your main output. Like if you're sending to a TV or a projector in your church, you can send that same content, but with a different layout. So if you want the lower thirds text and you're going to send that to a live streaming software that has a camera in it as well, and you want to put the text over the bottom part of the screen, you can do that. So it's very simple to send EasyWorship alternate output to a program like OBS or vMix, Wirecast, Boxcast, whatever you're using. And EasyWorship supports NDI out, which is a network device interface. So you don't have to, basically you can send your display signal out through the network to another computer that has a streaming software on it. And overlay that onto a camera feed. You can also do it on the same computer as well. You can do a screen capture, screen capture or NDI is going to be the easiest way to live stream your EasyWorship over a camera feed.
Good. Tell me about the remote app. How does the remote app work?
So we have a remote app that's available on the Google Play Store, Apple Store. You can use it on any device to control any device within reason to control EasyWorship from within an area around the presentation. You can even do it on an Apple Watch. We've seen some cool use cases of that, where we'll have a pastor up there controlling his slides with that. And, you know, we update it fairly regularly to make sure that it works like it's supposed to. And,
you know, we wanted the congregation to think the pastor was checking his watch to make sure he was done on time.
Right.
But he's actually just changing his slide. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
That was really it. But yeah, with the remote app, it's great because you don't have to be at the computer. You don't have to have somebody sitting there. You know, a lot of times churches will have, if you have a volunteer that wants to sit with their family, they can do that and still run the schedule from their phone or their tablet. So it's very convenient.
Do you worry that
it's free?
Something's going to go wrong, and so they have to scramble back to the computer? Or is it usually a situation where a volunteer's sitting there, but the pastor is doing their own presentation? What is
question?
Yeah, that is the way I do it. I'll be close to the computer, and my pastor will run his sermon notes from his phone. Usually, I mean, if there's a problem, it's going to be a network issue, like if their router goes down or too many people are on that network. The only other issue that I've run into is if he wants something that we don't have in the schedule, because you're not able to add.
Right. It's
at
more
this
of an
point, you're not able to add items.
Advancement.
Right. Right. Advance whatever you have in the schedule. Just advance those slides.
Yeah. Good. All right. So alpha channel. Let's kind of define this term here. So if you are Jared, I'll let you do the basic education here. Come on.
No,
I was about
this
to.
One's going to be Dan.
Okay, go for it, Dan.
I was about to just disappear like Alpha Channel. Alpha Channel myself out of the picture.
All right, Dan. I was about to do it, but we'll let the master take this one.
Okay, I'll try to be basic.
Okay.
So Alpha Channel is a broadcast signal that allows you to display your output over the top of something else. So if you have basically kind of what you see on TV when you have something display over the top of something else on the screen, they're going to alpha channel that or broadcast signal that. So what the best thing this is used for is for your song lyrics. If you go to a conference or a big concert and they have the words on the screen, on the bottom of the screen, underneath the person singing or speaking, then they're probably going to be using alpha channel. And it's actually two signals. There's a full signal and there's a key signal, and it mixes those together and it mixes it over the top of a camera feed. And that's kind of as basic as it can be, but that's basically what alpha channel is.
So is there alpha channel capability within the software?
There is, and there always has been. You can do alpha channel directly from EasyWorship. You don't need any kind of extra hardware other than a video card that supports those two outputs. So if you have those two extra outputs for alpha channel, you can send those to a mixer and mix that with your camera.
Okay, so I'm going to be using this for lyrics on top of worship camera shots, maybe a lower third on top of the camera shot of my pastor, things like that, right?
Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be the main use for it. Mm-hmm. Now you can show other things. You can still send your videos, images, presentations, things like that. They'll just take up the whole screen. They'll cover the entire camera feed, because it's basically anything from a gradient from a white to a black. It'll bleed through depending on where that gradient is the way kind of an alpha channel works. So it's not just like if you see a chroma key where you have a green screen, it just keys out that one color. This is a full gradient from white to black that will key out.
Yeah.
That's a little more technical. Sorry about that.
No, very good. Jared could not have done that.
No, I was pushing my glasses up for Dan.
Okay.
All right. Tell me
But
about.
we do have a lot of sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say we do have a lot of instructions and a couple of videos on our website as well that kind of get into a little more detail and kind of walk you through, if you're wanting to set that up, walk you through how to do that and kind of what things mean.
Yeah, good. All right. Tell me about the premium media integration. This is where we've kind of connected a lot before in putting some of our media content inside your library. So, Jared, you want this one? This one's all you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is very marketing heavy. No, so like you mentioned, Carl, this is something that we've connected with on the past. And I talk about pretty prolifically whenever I'm discussing EasyWorship with people at different conferences and just through social media platforms, things like that. So our premium media integration is the way that I best describe it is, we have two plans. We have our basic plan, which just covers the software, all your support, everything any church might need. And then we have our premiums plan, which includes everything that the previous plan offers and also our premium media integration. Our premium media library, as some people also call it. So we have a massive platform available online that has tons and tons of content that is getting added to weekly from amazing producers from all over the U.S. And some outside the U.S. as well. Carl is one of those, and like we said before, we're so grateful to have them as a partner to be able to add media in there. That's just like top-notch, really good content for churches. But our premium media subscription allows any church anywhere to download as much media as they want whenever they want it. If they're part of the media subscription, it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of high-quality media. We're talking animated backgrounds, stills, lower thirds, countdowns, introductions, mini movies, pretty much anything you could want to take your production value from drab to fab. You know what I'm saying? And it can really help, a smaller church feel more engaging, be more visceral and, intentional with their visual production during worship and sermon to just get people more engaged, because visual media is so impactful in the church. And we're seeing that not only for the youths, the young people, but everybody. Yeah. And so, our premium media integration is kind of a core part of that. And, a major part of our mission now is to continue growing that to help churches, progress the kingdom of God through that. Yeah. But I mean, you download things onto your account and you can then see them in the software, or you can download them through the web browser in the software. And then you'll see them right there in front of you, and you can just click and drag them into your schedule, like we said before.
Yeah, good. All right, so let's kind of wrap it with this. I'll just ask you directly, what sets you guys apart? Why should someone use your software to present their church visuals?
Love it. So, Dan and I talked about this, before. And, we kind of came up with three main things that really set EasyWorship apart. The first one being stability. Having talked to so many people over the last few months at conferences, one of the most frustrating things that one out of every two or three people talked about was dealing with stability issues. Mm-hmm. Saving something on Friday night, coming in and expecting it to work on Sunday morning and it be broken. EasyWorship, we're on the most stable humble brag. We're on the most stable version we've ever had. We have very, very few issues with, overall stability just in the software. So that's a major selling point for EasyWorship. If you want something consistent and reliable, give us a look. The other thing is affordability. We are pretty dang affordable, and we've done that intentionally because it would be easy to mark a product up and charge more and more for it and, make money and pay everybody more. But, the purpose is making it accessible to churches. And so, we offer annual discounts. We offer, we offer multiple different plans at affordability. And, a lot of other softwares in our competitive market, they don't give you things for free. Like, you have to pay to get support. If you have an issue and you're frustrated, that's probably one of the last things you want to be thinking about is like, how much is this going to cost me to get this issue resolved? Mm-hmm. But with EasyWorship, you pay for a plan. We are going to make sure that you are able to use it like you're supposed to. Yeah. And so we offer support to all of our customers for free. So
well, and I can really attest to that. I mean, you guys are just super relational, super there for your customers and your partners, and I mean, I see that we serve at a lot of conferences together where we're like side by side next to each other. Yep. And so, man, just your heart to serve those in the church, ministry leaders, is just really great to see. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And then, the last big selling point for us is, it's in the title. It's easy. It's ease of use. Barrier of entry is very low to EasyWorship. Like I mentioned earlier, everything's click and drag. Everything's intuitive. If you have trouble with something, our support team is there. You can submit a support ticket and they can help you through if you're having some issues. Dan does a class every other week for anybody who's like a new user that's needing some training. You can get your whole team involved in that, and it can kind of be a fun experience. We've also started to do a biannual, what we call a digital training summit, where, we've had, the last one we did was awesome. We had I think it was over 6,000 people engage with it from beginning to end, 6,000 unique people engage with it, where Dan and I just set aside one evening and we just got on a live stream, and Dan did a normal training session, but we just fielded questions and nonstop on 3 different platforms. So I'm YouTube, Vimeo, Facebook, just back and forth firing rapid fire questions at Dan. And, that's just, it's all part of our mission is to just, help people move the kingdom forward through their church. And, so equip as best we can.
Good. All right. So to that end, let me, last question for you. Why is visual media, you guys are in the business of presenting visual media to folks. Why are your visuals important? Why do they matter?
For me, I would say visuals matter for engagement. And this is maybe more of a Jared question. He's much more eloquent with his words than I am, but engagement, just being able to display what you're trying to say is will come across in a better way. I'm a visual person. I like to see what's happening. If somebody just tells me something, I'm going to forget it. But if I see it, it's going to be much more impactful and I'm going to remember it longer. So when you're able to display your message through visuals, through maybe a specific background for a song or an opening video for a sermon, I'm going to remember that a lot longer. So I think that's very important.
That's good. I'm going to tack on to that. Because Carl, we've talked about before in a previous conversation that we had about what has happened to the shift in media since the advent of COVID, and that dynamic shift of the church to really paying a lot of attention to the online audience and the people that can't make it into the congregation. And so I think Dan hit the nail on the head in that it is a tool of engagement. It is a tool that in marketing, we say that you have 7 seconds to grab somebody's attention. And I think that it's like perfectly applicable in all situations, especially in church. If you go in and it's, black background, white text, you might get somebody's attention, but you're not going to capture it nearly as much if you have something engaging going on behind that. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's, I think that that's the way that we move the church forward in a way is, make it as accessible, make it engaging, make it something that is like, it's exciting to be at church, because the more people that you can get in the door, the more lives you have as an opportunity to change. Right.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for that. And thank you guys so much for your time. I just give us the website if people are interested in checking you out, checking out all the features and benefits you guys have to offer. Give us website and how to get involved.
Yep. Dan Willard at EasyWorship.com. Message him with all of your... No, I'm just kidding. Just EasyWorship.com, guys. Our marketing team has spent a really long time working up a fantastic website. It's very easy to flow, and genuinely, if you do have any questions or concerns, give us a call. Our sales team or our support team would love to chat with you. Yeah. Awesome. And Carl, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be on your podcast. We love you and we love you guys, and it's been fantastic to be partners and to kind of watch both our companies grow through this season, post COVID, and really excited to see what the next few years have.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you guys, and thanks for coming on. Hey, ministry leader, I wanted to take a moment just to encourage you with the work you are doing. You are doing amazing work for the kingdom. Do not grow weary in doing good. Your work matters. Your work for the kingdom matters. How you communicate the gospel matters. And that's why we take such pride in helping you with high-quality visuals at your church. Because we know that how you present the gospel to your people sometimes equates to how they receive the gospel. Your visuals matter. Thank you so much for the work that you are doing. It is a pleasure to serve you as you serve your community. You're doing great work. Our team is praying for you. Keep up the great job you are doing for the kingdom. Hey friends, as we wrap this week's episode, here's your church visuals tip of the week. Use EasyWorship as your presentation software if it's right for your church. EasyWorship is a great partner of ours. We've partnered with them on ready-made media. A lot of our ready-made media is in their library in the presentation software. We've also produced custom media for their library and for their team. And it's just been a great partnership. If you want to reach the people that you want to reach for Jesus, your visuals matter, and so does your presentation software. So again, your church visuals tip of the week, use EasyWorship as your presentation software if it is a great fit for your church. Be sure to like this episode and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would. You can follow us on social media at Church Visuals. I'll see you next week. Your Visuals Matter has been a podcast presentation of Church Visuals. Executive produced by Carl Barnhill. Edited by AJ Schubert. Title and show graphics by Angie Lomas. For more resources to help you visually communicate the gospel, visit churchvisuals.com.